Can you hear me? Uh, Hi, everybody.
I could hear you, Jeff.
Okay. Okay. So Donna says she can't hear us. Alejandro. Testing. One, two, three. Testing.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello.
I can hear you, but I don't think they can.
thumbs up? Could be. No, this one was born with Attorney General. Here's something, somewhere.
Definitely didn't see that before, so I think,
Thank you.
yeah, as long as someone can tell us used to it, it's good.
And now it's insane.
Yes, Brett. Brett, can you hear us? Well, that's pretty convenient, right?
4 minutes would be.
Okay, Erica, can you hear us?
The street, right? Yeah.
They're homeless.
Right there.
Well, let's do it.
Alright,
No, that's us.
That's okay.
No.
Right there.
We're back. You can hear us, Alejandro?
I sure can.
I'll text Jeff again.
I just did.
I can hear you.
Gary, we're signing off.
Okay.
You have a nice day.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So you can send it to the.
send your invoice.
We will. Eric just smiles.
Remember, the broadcast hasn't started yet.
I know, I have to, let me go into there, thank you.
What did we do?
That's a whole nother, a whole nother beast.
We started the whole program.
Okay, we have only 2 minutes left in the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order. Are we ready, Andrea?
We are ready.
Okay, roll call, please.
Director Perezio. Here. Director Shore is not with us. Director Delara.
Here,
Director Logsdon, he was gonna log in online, he is not with us. Secretary Barraza.
Here.
Vice President
Here.
Rodriguez and President Rogers.
Here. Okay, please join me for the pledge of allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we have approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Public comment, are there any comments from the community? Any comments online?
No.
Hearing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. Are there any questions about items on the consent agenda? May I have a motion to approve? I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
So Director Perezio.
Yeah.
Director Delara.
yes.
Secretary Barraza.
Yes.
Vice President Rodriguez.
Yes.
And President Rogers.
Yeah. Desert Regional Medical Center CEO report. Michael Vitoro is not here. I'm sitting on.
I'm in your blind spot.
Oh, you're in the blind spot.
That was quick.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
'Tis the season of many events. We celebrated our 35th anniversary of our Comprehensive Cancer Center a couple of weeks ago. It was a wonderful event. We've also done a lot with participating in the parades, with the Veterans Parade, the Pride Parade, and our annual hanging of the Pride flag. We're very proud and happy to do that. The one item aside from that I wanted to update on is our continued efforts with the Affordable Care Act Enrollment Initiative. Thank you to the district for your willingness to engage and help educate the community with this. We, through our efforts, have sent messages to over 2,600 patients. We've had over 1,000 outreach from our business office team. We have had a slow start to scheduling appointments. We've had over 40 appointments scheduled and at least a dozen patients enrolled. We think the activity is going to really get more active as we get closer to the deadline of December 15th for enrollment. We also additionally have reached out to 10 brokers. We've participated in 12 events. We've got 20 more that are upcoming, doing a lot of social media posts, television ads. So we're really trying to hit this hard, and we're hopeful as we get close to December 15th that will help to get more folks enrolled. And then we will also have a month of post-enrollment support that folks can call if they have any questions about the plans that they're in and whatnot. So again, thank you all for your efforts as well. That's all I have tonight.
When is the cafeteria going to be completed?
Well, I don't want to say a date because I don't want to jinx things, but as I understand it, our construction will be completed before the end of the year. The rate limiting step is going to be the state's ability to come out and do the inspections that they need to. And as we run into the holidays, we're just gonna be hopeful that their schedule will accommodate to get them out. If they can't inspect it by then, hopefully sometime within January.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Mike? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Desert Regional Media Center Governing Board. Greg had the report and submitted it.
Within on speed file.
Any questions about that report? CEO report, Donna stepping in for Chris.
No CEO report. Except, I'm sorry, yes, there are some things on there. I can see that we are continuing on with the strategic planning workshops. We had one, we're gonna be having the next one on December 10th and then the 11th. One's gonna be at the Palm Springs officer. And the next one will be at RAP on the 11th. And then Tuesday, January 13th will be another one. We have tentatively scheduled January 12th or January 14th. We are working on the community engagement pieces, and Chris sent you email yesterday with this chart with all the zones, and so we're hoping that the next steps could be see what hosting site we can get in each one of the zones. And if you guys have any ideas, what would be a good hosting site in your zone, even though we have some listed, please reach out and let us know. Do you have any comments or questions about this chart that he sent? No?
I didn't receive anything, but I did get a message from Harry saying that my email had been compromised. Did anybody else get that?
No, I got the email from you with the bad link though, but I didn't open it. I got that from Jeff.
Erica Filch got it from Seabag and
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I just got hacked and, it was really inconsequential, but
Did it happen today?
all of a sudden I had 200 plus emails that came through. So sorry about that. I don't think there was even those that opened it, I don't think anything happened, but it's just the times we live in,
Yeah. Well, Carol had a problem too today.
Yeah.
The one you sent today, it just said there was no place to go to. Error message.
It was the same, information that the one I got from Jeff. So I didn't open it.
Yeah.
So
The key is not to open it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other reports, Donna?
Just some other listings here that CSDA is having a webinar on the Brown Act revamp. I'm sure you guys are all signed up for that. CB Link, we had various board members and staff that went to the different grand opening ceremonies throughout the valley. Besides what's listed here was also La Quinta, Palm Desert, Coachella. I went to the Palm Springs when Greg was there. Kay Hazen was invited to speak and she spoke. There's some photos too. Photos. We have some photos up in Palm Springs. I believe it was from Cathedral City. Cathedral City, okay. Yvette was at Cathedral City, right, Yvette? As well as Director Delara was at the Coachella, correct?
Yes.
There she is.
This is it.
And that was all. Okay. So I'm sure everybody's gotten their new bicycle and been riding on the trail, right?
every day.
Next listed here is the Comprehensive Cancer Center's 35th anniversary, which Mike touched on, which was I was there, as was Carol and Chris, and It's a very beautiful affair. I like the nice etched glass that we all got to bring home with us. It was very nice. Yeah. Congratulations on 35 days.
Thank you.
Valley Sanitary District celebration, I believe. Kimberly went? Yep.
We attended, very well attended event, and it's, I mean, just a great celebration. You know, not a lot of things, businesses, organizations, people make it to 100, so it's always good.
Yeah.
To be there. I presented a certificate on behalf of the district congratulating our, I guess, co-special district in the valley. So, right.
And then the APHA annual meeting, Carol, it's in your packet, Director made a report as well as the staff that went was Eric and Alejandro and Chris, and they did a combined staff report. You saw that, so I didn't know if Yvette or Greg or Kimberly wanted to give a verbal report on
I mean, it was.
what I learned at APHA.
It was a detailed meeting on a lot of public health issues and different practices by different entities. They had one on they called it Black Health, mental health. It was mental health of the African Americans. And how they face issues because of their of environment and then ACEs and other things. It was very informational. They also had they talked about law enforcement, mental health pilot that they did, and it seemed very interesting because I know a lot of police officers in our area, well, at least in Cathedral City, don't have that mental health training to deal with people that do have mental health issues that, you know, of things that happen in the community or even them, how to deal with the mental health issues of what they do. There was also talks of BHW implementing them in the healthcare setting and how they were helping overcome some of the barriers of the community members. It was a lot of information, and there was a lot of good information that I was like, oh, I wonder if we can do that here or things like that. So it was very interesting.
Thank you. And I prepared a little something. So can I read it so that I don't have way too much? So I attended the American Public Health Association APHA annual meeting and expo in Washington, D.C. from November 2nd, and it was through the 5th. Along with 3 of my fellow board members and staff. It was actually energizing, and it's just a great experience to be surrounded by so many people from all across the country within public health. Some of the sessions that I joined were, to mention a few, one was called Mission Possible, Rebuilding the U.S. Health System, Bold Leaders Shaping the Future of Public Health. Another one was The Future of Health Equity, Defending Science as a Higher National Value. And that closing ceremony was just something else. The speaker, just like the motivation and everybody there within like the same focus, public health, equity. I also attended the rally, which was at the National Mall. Just, you know, a different level of advocacy for me that I hadn't experienced necessarily at federal level. So that was pretty neat. Just overall, I think it was just like a powerful reminder of what we're, you know, in like me being within like public policy. It's just a reminder of like how powerful our voices are and the difference that we can actually make within our communities, but then also coming together with many others in the same space nationwide. It's just powerful, and it was motivational. Just I think it was just the energy, the right amount of energy that we needed to continue you know, serving our constituents with a good heart and you know, just good spirits.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just add on to that too, because what I saw is a lot of uncertainty and a lot of wondering where we're going as a country, much especially when it comes to public health. But still, I saw the energy level about that we have to continue to promote and fight for science and good public health policy. I was blown away by the number of people who were there. It's probably one of the largest conferences I've ever been to. But I was also impressed, as you know, very passionate about homelessness and housing, but there was a lot of sessions that tied into housing issues and homelessness around public health, Medicaid reform and all that. So unfortunately, I had to leave a day earlier, so I didn't get to see the closing session. My final comment is I've never walked the mall at night, and it was one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen. I walked that mall probably 1,000 times, but I was disappointed the government was shut down because Felix didn't get to see any museums or any of that. So, but it was a great conference. It was a really, really good conference. So
I also want to add a big shout out and thank you to our staff. We did present a poster,
Yeah.
our staff members presented a poster. So it was very rewarding and you're just full of like pride, right? Like this is the work that we're producing and just seeing other guests or participants, attendees stopping by our poster, asking Alejandro right questions about our mobile unit, the relationships that that the district has created with school districts and those partnerships. And then also, I didn't get to meet anyone that was from another healthcare district. I know that other states don't have special districts, some call them commissions or they're just other nonprofit organizations. So that was pretty unique. I didn't get to meet anyone. But I know, so it was like a little extra. I went like within like the poster presentation, like people like asking, so where does the funding come from? Like, how do you make it happen? And so not sure if Alejandro would like to add anything within like that aspect, but just being there and looking how our work is being showcased at a national level is very rewarding.
Yeah, I think a lot of those, and thank you, Director, for for attending and being part of the conversation there. Yeah, we did have quite a few folks come up to the poster and ask questions. I think the majority, and we learned this also at the Mobile Healthcare Association, that a lot of the mobile units are associated with a federally qualified health center or a larger healthcare system. So we're very unique in the way that we're doing things, and a lot of questions. Where does this funding coming from? Who are the doctors that are, providing the services? Where do you provide the services, et cetera? So really, really good conversation with a couple of folks that stopped by and, had an interest in asking and learning about the work that we do.
Hey, thank you. I think that the best part of the session or the conference was the rally at the mall. And this is my favorite picture. Okay, it says Fire RFK Jr. now.
No.
Being my Berkeley radical here. Okay, and any more discussion?
So in the
Are
last
you done, Donna?
Just the last thing is what's in your packet is the CEO engagements and district media visibility. If there's any comments, questions?
Okay. And then number 4 on the agenda is Zone 5 Board of Directors vacancy.
Yeah, Donna, I can take that if you'd like.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, so Director Shore has submitted his resignation. It's going to be effective, I think that's Sunday and November 30th. And basically, it's pretty straightforward. We have to just follow the government code provision. And we got, the board has 60 days to either appoint a new director from Zone 5. You have to be a resident in Zone 5 in order to qualify. And you either have to appoint him in the first 60 days or set it for a special election. I think we'll probably be able to avoid having the expense of a special election, hopefully. And basically, the only twist on this a little bit is because this occurs in Director Shore's first half of his term, then the person that's going to be appointed is only eligible to serve under the code until 2026. And then in 2026, what's going to happen is that there'll be 4-year terms for other directors that are coming up for election, but there'll be a 2-year term for Zone 5. And the person appointed or anybody else can then run for that seat. And then the other part of this is that we have a obligation to post a notice of vacancy, and that's also in there. And we filled out kind of a draft form with a few blanks. And so what we'd like to do is go ahead and have staff work with your schedules in January, and preferably we'd call a special meeting, and we would have candidates would be interviewed. We would have their resumes delivered to the district prior to that, so that you'd have an opportunity to read hopefully the individuals that apply read their resumes, so that you'll come to the meeting prepared. And then at the meeting, we just will have conduct the interviews and listen to their reasons why they think they should serve on the board. And then we'll have take a vote of the directors, and all of this is done transparently in open session. And like I say, it's all pretty straightforward. So tonight, we're just asking that you go ahead and direct the staff to coordinate with the board a special meeting, and then we can post this notice of vacancy. And basically, the way that works is that this has got to be posted in 3 conspicuous places in the district, which we've done that before. And so it's like at the post office or a library or something like that. In addition, we would suggest that we post this on the district's website, this notice of vacancy. And also, I think it's probably a good idea just to go ahead and run this in the local newspaper. And basically, this will designate the date that the interviews are going to be taking place, and will read the requirements to file your FPPC statements before you're appointed, and make sure that you get your resumes in enough time ahead. So with that, that's basically what I've got, and I would appreciate a motion to go ahead and approve the notice of vacancy form, and direct staff to coordinate a meeting in January that's convenient. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. So
Any questions or comments for staff? Go ahead, Donna.
Jim, how does one know if they live in Zone 5? Is that part of the notice?
well,
of
it's a little
posting?
technical. We have a general description, which is based upon the district's Zone 5 website. But to confirm exactly whether or not you're in there, what you need to do is contact the registrar, the Riverside Registrar of Voters, to make sure that you do have you're in that zone. But the maps are available, and they can kind of look at that. And like I say, rather than have staff try to make that call, it's more appropriate for the registrar to do that.
Also, if there's somebody interested in being on the board, they should do their due diligence to figure out where.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't, to be honest, it really hasn't been a problem in the past. We just make sure that they verify. It's a simple thing to say. They just call the registrar and say, hey, I live at my residence is at such and such, and I just want to make sure, confirm that that's I'm in the proper Zone 5. So
and that zone's pretty well defined anyway.
Yeah.
And we do have on the district website a map showing all the zones. So I mean,
Yeah, it's there, but to be honest with you, it's kind of, while the lines are there, they're not necessarily, show the streets and everything like that.
Got
So
it.
it's just better to go ahead and get it confirmed with the registrar.
Andre just confirmed that if you type in your address in that interactive map, it will come up and tell you what you're in that zone.
There you go.
We'll double check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Before.
Any more comments or questions? Any questions from the?
Question.
Oh, come on, Linda. You can't have a question.
The notice of vacancy indicates applications must state the applicant's qualifications and the reason for wanting to serve on the board. Will the district be standardizing an application with, name, address, what have you, in addition to submitting a resume, or what application should somebody be directed to?
Well, they do this on their own. They basically are going to submit an application saying why they feel they're qualified to serve. And then it's sort of a resume. And so we don't really have a hard and fast, oh, you got to put A, B, and C in there. We have always allowed directors in the past, potential applicants rather, to, tell their story and explain why they think they would be the appropriate candidate to serve. And it seems to, it's always worked really well. I don't think we really necessarily need to script a particular resume for them.
Basically a cover letter.
and a resume, perfect.
Yeah.
It's application, so.
As long as we make that clear when in the notice. Any more comments from the community? Any more comments from staff?
So I would move approval of the notice of vacancy and to direct staff to finalize the appointment process.
Thank you.
Kimberly, second that. Do we need a roll call?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Director Fresco. Director Tomorrow.
Yes.
Secretary Barraza.
Yes.
Vice President Rodriguez.
Yes.
President Rogers.
Yes. So Jeff, you're at number 5. Do you have any more legal?
Before we move on to the next item, I was just, it mentioned on here that we would have a special meeting after December 26th. So it'll be a separate meeting than the meetings that we're already planning for January.
Yeah, it's going to be a special meeting held after December 26th is what we put in there. So, and I think that rather than clog the regular meeting, you want to focus on the candidates, because it depends upon, how many applicants we get. And so we want to be able to not, prolong the regular meeting. Plus, we'll be cutting it a little bit close if we wait till the end of January. I think it's a good idea if for whatever reasons we're unable to come to a candidate. The other thing is what happens is if for some reason the board wasn't able to appoint somebody in that 60 days, then it's kicked down to the board of supervisors for them to nominate a candidate or set it for an election. It's been my experience that typically the board of supervisors does not want to get into local politics of board directors. So what they typically do, if you are unable to appoint somebody, they'll just send it back to you and say, call a special election. And we'd certainly like to avoid that expense if possible, but that's your call. That's up to you guys.
Should there be a drop dead date of the deadline to submit an application or resumes?
Yeah, there will be. And
On
I think it's on I think it says that persons interested in being appointed must submit an application by letter to the district no later than 5 p.m. And depending upon when we schedule a special meeting, we'll make sure that that's, at least 4 days or so in advance so that we can, when the applications come in, we can then send them out to the board so you can at least have an opportunity to review them. So hopefully we'll have a number of applicants and have something for you to look at.
And so, because it says that they're gonna be submit an application by letter, and then we have the address on there. Does that imply that no applications will be received via email? Like they all have to be submitted in person?
No. It's just, they can send it in by email. We can throw that in. you know, as far, we can put the email address after the 5 PM. I think that's because that's the way everybody does it now. They don't have to come down to the office to submit it. They may mail it to us, but you know, either via email or letter.
And we anticipate generating a press release to get this out in the Desert Sun.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think a press release is a good suggestion, Director Delara. But I also think you want to post something in the local newspaper. Just get the word out the best we can. I'll leave that to Will.
Yeah, I don't know if we really need to pay for something in the paper. I think that they'll pick it up through the press release, and I think doing social media is going to be sufficient. Nobody reads the Desert Sun anymore.
Well,
So online. A lot of people do online.
My point is I think if we do a press release, they'll pick that up because it's the resignation of an elected official.
Springs.
yeah, well, that sounds fine, and we'll just leave it to Will to do. Like you say, we
Can
don't.
pick it up. I mean, all the.
So I
And
mean,
then, I will say the Desert Sun is already working on a story about the resignation,
So see,
but they don't have this.
yeah.
The notice, so we may want to at least advertise once.
Yeah,
Okay.
and get a date sooner
Just to be
than
sure.
later in January.
And the date due by, should we allow for like 3 weeks? Is that acceptable? For 3 weeks that they have to submit by 3 weeks from today? Or
well, I think it's better. It's my experience. You don't, you know, if you don't want to put it too far out there because you want to make sure that you get everybody has an opportunity to submit. I think you give them a reasonable time before that they have to submit it because you want to make sure that they know what the date is, and then you backtrack that a few days. I think 4 days or so is plenty of time for the board to be able to do it. If you go 3 weeks, the problem is there may be people that don't have a chance to meet that deadline, 3 weeks before. So you want to give them an opportunity to submit. That's how we've done it in the past, and it seems to work pretty well.
What does the board desire is? Even if we
Yes, I mean, to me, I think the application should be in by the first week of January, by Friday of the first week of January.
Well,
that gives people.
We're not gonna interview anybody until January anyway, so at least through the month of December, at least a little bit longer.
Because that gives people a month. Again, if you're serious about sitting on this board or any board, you should be able to submit a cover letter and a resume within a day, to be honest with you. So,
yeah, one of the things that gets a little bit, you don't want to, let's say that we set a date and it's the first week in January, and then we don't hold the meeting until the 20th. And there might be some stragglers that are going to want to come in, and then you got to deal with the issue of, okay, well, we can't necessarily not consider them and disqualify them because they didn't meet that early date. So I think you're better served to make the date a little more closer. It just depends upon when the special meeting is.
Suppose that we do it Monday, December 22nd. That's before the holidays. People aren't going to be doing anything during the holidays. And that way you can determine how many hours we're going to need to interview people. So that way Andrea has enough time to look for enough time on the calendar. And that is 3 whole weeks. And I think that's very reasonable. So December 22nd is a Monday. Again, it's right before people start checking out for the holidays. So I think 3 weeks is reasonable.
And
Well,
that
the
allows us a
prop-
little bit
okay,
more
the-
time. The attorney's trying to give us some advice, though.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem with that is that what happens is you got to run this notice for at least 15 days. And so if we don't post the notice, I mean, we may not, depending upon how it works, we could post it in the first week in December, but you're still going to have to let that 15 days expire. And then you're going to set a date sometime in January. And I'm just saying that it's always worked best in the past that we don't set the date too early so that we give everybody an opportunity to submit their application, and then you can consider them, and at that point, and then we don't have to make it so, okay, if you haven't got it in, then I will guarantee you somebody else, if you do it too early, you're going to have people are going to say, well, I still would like to submit something before the meeting. And there, because the meeting may not be for another 3 weeks or so after the 21st deadline. I mean, you'd have to set the meeting for early January.
That notice that was on the screen right now, it actually had a due date. So a due date is, that's when it's due, and anybody beyond that shouldn't be considered. Why is there that information there if it's not gonna be, it's contrary to what that's saying then? So no
Well,
later than 5 p.m. on.
What if we just do 7 days before the meeting where we choose the candidate?
I
We will
think
have
that,
1 week.
yeah, I think that works great. I mean, because otherwise you're gonna,
22nd is right before Christmas, and everybody is checking up. It's a holiday, 25th, 26th, 27th. You know, that's why I just think if you're gonna fill in that blank, or unless you're gonna leave it blank, but it's the blanks are there, so you just go ahead and fill in a date. And 3 weeks is reasonable. Do you want to leave it up to the 24th? Then okay, but I think you need to put a date on there. You can't just do it.
We're gonna-
A date would be 7 days before a public hearing where we
Right.
choose the candidate.
And
that's.
But you don't know when
that's
that's gonna, we don't know when that, unless you're gonna be able to schedule it without knowing how many people are gonna apply.
well, but I'm just saying, I think 7 days is a reasonable time period before, because that gives you plenty of time to review them. And then if somebody tries to submit something afterwards, we can say, hey, look, this is, you know, it's not like 3 weeks before. It's only a week before, and that's the deadline that we want you to submit. So I just think you're setting yourself up for some potential arguments that we don't necessarily need to have to get into, because you may have a qualified candidate that submits after that 3 week, you know, that deadline that's at least 3 weeks before the meeting. And then what are you going to do? You're going to just say, well, you're just disqualified. I mean,
How many people apply for jobs?
we've never been that hard. You know, when you submitted your
RFPs, you know, you have
So I think we do early January, in my opinion. I think staff should set a date of what the meeting is, figure out what the day of the meeting is, and then we do it. But I don't buy that if the deadline's passed and somebody wants to apply, if you're running for office, you have a deadline to file with the registrar of voters to run for office. So,
Okay, so looking at the
but I
calendar,
think the only reason I say January though,
Yeah.
is because of the 15-day thing, so it gives staff time to notice.
just looking at the calendar, give us a date. I'm okay with it. I just want a date on there, so when the press release goes out,
Exactly.
we can share that with as many media as interested in carrying the.
That's why I would suggest like.
so we know that the latest that we can appoint someone is Thursday, January 29th.
Right.
So for sure, we're not gonna have meetings that week, because I don't want to be pushing it. So we're either gonna meet, so we
Either
are
maybe the
looking
12th
at.
or the 19th. Right?
Mhm. So,
So I would say like by Monday, the 5th.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
that
like the week from the 12th through the 16th, like we're gonna be busy that whole week. The following week we're off on Monday, or it's a holiday, so that would only give us like 4 days. So I think that we should be working on that week, the 5th through the 9th. And so
Yeah,
if we
yeah, I
take
mean,
it back, the deadline would be,
What's a convenient date? Because I
29th.
think everything starts when what's a good date for the special meeting? I guess that's a question that we need. If it, you know, sometime in certainly not past the 15th of January, and then we can backdate it from there. It's just really getting what's convenient for the board members to be present. That's the most important thing, so that we can have the special meeting on that date. And then we can backtrack from there as to how far in advance
Eighth or
we
ninth?
need.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
so the 7th, 8th, or 9th.
What you
Are
are
you
you?
saying January 9th is a,
That's the
That's a
least
Friday.
favorite, because that's a Friday,
No, I'm
7th and
saying-
8th.
I'm saying January 9th for the session where we appoint someone.
where we interview them?
Yeah,
or-
where we
so
interview
Not the
them.
ninth, that's a
how-
Friday.
So how about like Thursday, the 8th?
Thursday, the
What
8th.
about the 13th? Does that sound
No,
reasonable?
We already
because
have-
we have like tentative strategy session meetings all that week.
Oh, yeah,
And
yes.
some of us have jobs that,
Yeah,
And we have committee
so
meetings
let's
starting.
tentatively set,
yeah, and we also have committee meetings. that
yeah,
week, too.
tentatively set the meeting where we interview the candidates and on the 8th. And the deadline will be January 5th.
Yes, that works.
Will that work?
Yes.
3 days before?
Yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna set the meeting for the 8th,
Right.
okay, and then we'll ask that they get them in by either the 2nd or the 5th. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
by 5 o'clock on the 5th.
5 o'clock
Okay,
on the
perfect.
5th.
Does that work for you guys' calendar?
Yeah,
Which
Is
means
that-
it has to be at least 15 days prior to the 8th. If the notice has to go out a minimum of 15 days before January.
yeah, I would assume that the notice can go out next week, correct?
Can we,
Planning to send it out Monday.
Yes.
Yeah,
can we add on there that we have interviews tentatively scheduled or scheduled for January 8th? That information on the notice so that they're also aware that if they're working or they have plans to.
Mhm.
What time's a good time on the 8th?
4.
4 o'clock.
Okay, so we'll schedule it for 4 o'clock on the 8th. We'll ask everybody to get any resumes in by the 5th. Does that sound good? By 5 o'clock?
And if they're not available to interview on the 8th, then sorry, but we have to just consider that one day.
Yeah, no, that's, you get to set the date. So if we're good with the date, then we can back that up as to when we want to see those applications in. I mean, either the 2nd or the 5th, whatever. I mean, the 5th works great. We'll make sure you get them all. And that gives everybody time to get their applications in. It gives us time to make sure this is posted correctly. We'll be able to do the press release. We will have it on our website. I think that will work great. Thanks for being cooperative. We just didn't know, we didn't want to just pick a date without making sure that the board was available.
And do we have a preference if they're I would like for them to come here in person, but are we open for Zoom or virtual interviews?
No,
I think you have to do it in person. I think for the applications, because one of the things that we do, because we want to be fair about this, because there'll be some questions that you'll want to ask each of the applicants, and so we want to make sure that the questions are pretty much uniform. So you don't want to have one of the things that we ask, even though it's a public meeting. We always ask the applicants. We'll have another room that we'll have the applicants that are in waiting, so that you interview them one at a time, and you do it fair and ask basically the same questions and for each candidate. So it's a kind of a uniform thing, and it's transparent. So I think in person is really I would suggest that we require that, so that they show up. If they're really interested in it, they should be able to be there.
When you were appointed, you were there with all the other applicants. We all sat there in one room and, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but I also understand, like, are we gonna deny someone if they're not able to make it in person for an interview?
I say yes. I think it sets a tone that they know that this has to be fitting into their schedule. And if we can accommodate, at sometimes, but they have to know that this is an in-person meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in favor of saying yes.
I think too, and that's why I appreciate what you talked about putting the date of the interview in, because then that gives them plenty of notification.
Yes.
This is it.
Yeah.
We all agreed on the 8th of January, right? So there'll be no
Yeah.
problem going back and forth.
And we'll make sure that it's modified to say it'll be an in-person. You'll be expected to be in person, and we'll make sure you get that your resume in by the 5th by 5 p.m. so that you have an opportunity to review it before the meeting. Should go really well. We just need to be transparent, and we'll make sure that the applicants, it's fair. It's a public meeting, but as a courtesy, and this has always worked in the past, people will understand that, you got to interview one-on-one. You can't necessarily, it's not fair to the early interviewers if they know what all the questions are going to be, if the others know that, and then, you just try to make the process as fair as possible and transparent as possible.
Will, you had a question?
Yes, so is it possible to identify a location for the special meeting? There is a blank space on this for that.
Well, yeah, the reason that was there was because we didn't know what we don't want to be presumptuous. We would like to do it at this location. I think it works very well, but I don't have the schedule for that. So that's why that's blank, Will.
You can check tomorrow morning though, right, Andrew?
I actually did check. It's not available.
Oh,
So
okay.
just do the district office then, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, if it's not available, we would simply do it at the district.
Yeah.
We've done it before at the district.
Yeah.
So
That was-
just like, sorry.
Yeah, that was the plan.
So just like we're requiring all the applicants to be in person, is it also required that all the board members be in person?
Well, we would hope so. That's why we're setting it for the 8th, that seems to be the time when you guys will be available.
And pretty much if you have a quorum, you have a meeting.
Yeah,
So if somebody's not able to attend, then they're not part of the
yeah,
process.
so we have to have a quorum.
And from my recollection, Donna, when I went through the process, I think each candidate had like a couple of minutes to provide a little brief summary, and then there was questions.
Yes. And we'll have some, I want you to feel free to ask any questions you want, but it is important that we have some sample questions for you to ask. And that that basically the way it works best is each director has, say 3 questions to ask the applicants, and we just go down the line and you're asking the same questions to each of them to be fair. And that way it's sort of, you get the sense of which one you think would be the best one to serve.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Thanks for the calendar invite.
Okay. Jeff, did you had anything more legal and on the agenda to report?
No, I think that'll do it for tonight. I tried to be brief, but it doesn't always work out that way, but that's all I have. Carol, thank you.
Okay.
I think we still need to vote on the motion, right?
No, we did. Did we?
We did. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, committee meetings, legislative policy committee.
Hi, all the notes are on there, minutes, memos. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you all might have. No, thanks.
Any questions for Director Barraza? Any questions from the community? Moving on program committee.
We didn't have one this past month. We do have one scheduled for next.
Okay, finance committee, Director Delara, you have some.
So we have the reports listed on there, the minutes for the November meeting. We have an information item for consulting agreement addendum and the updates on Las Palmas. Does anybody have a question? And that's it.
Any questions for Director Delara? Any questions from the community? On to board member comments. Are there any board member comments that we haven't discussed? Okay, motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Shall we move on to the foundation, or do you want a break? It looks like a short agenda. Okay.